Hi, everybody. Hello. It is January 20th, Martin Luther King's Day 2020. So it's 2020. And I am crispy and clean on the scene to talk about 3 reasons why I do not regret narcissistic abuse. Not even a little bit, not even at all. Because honestly, if these things hadn't happened, if narcissistic abuse hadn't happened, I would not be where I am today. And that is in a beautiful, loving partnership with an amazing man who supports me and loves me and has my back and sees me for who I am. And I wouldn't get to be a mom to my awesome girl that's 5 now in partnership with my husband. I wouldn't even know what partnership was. I wouldn't even know about sacred partnership, which I talk about. I literally would be like a whole different person. So to be honest with you, looking back over my life and the narcissistic abuse that happened in my family of origin, and then also with my previous relationships due to the blueprint that I had, I would not change a thing. And here are 3 reasons why. Okay, so the first reason is because I now cannot be controlled or manipulated. It's very, very difficult to pull the wool over my eyes. It's very difficult to bamboozle me and hoodwink me into things that are not accurate or not true or not authentic for me. And so that is really powerful, because when it comes to relationships, when it comes to job situations, when it comes to contracts, when it comes to large purchases, especially when it comes to just living life, deciding where you're going to live, what property are you going to purchase, or what rent are you going to pay, or what school are your kids going to go to, who are you going to share your private life with, right? And so I trust myself implicitly, and no one can define reality for me. So basically what that means is that there's really nothing that anyone can tell me at this point that is going to make me doubt myself. Meaning, because of the narcissistic abuse and because of all the gaslighting, overcoming that has meant learning to trust my intuition, learning to trust my perception, learning to trust my judgment so implicitly that I very rarely question it anymore. I'm not perfect. Of course, I do occasionally. Something happens that I'm like, did that just happen? But generally, I'm like, yeah, that just happened. I can self-affirm and I can have that confidence and self-trust. And so what happens is, a lot of times people tell me, well, I don't trust men, or I don't trust women, or I don't trust life even, right? It's like, it's not about trusting anybody else. Once we trust ourselves, once we have that self-confidence and self-trust, it's really not hard to trust others, right? And so this is a part of the work that we do in Worthy of Love, my program, my recovery program. We look at how to establish that self-trust, how to get that confidence. Where do you buy confidence, as Wendy Newman, my amazing colleague, says, right? So yeah, it's hard to manipulate and control me. It's hard to pull the wool over my eyes. The other thing that's really empowering about this is that common social games just bore the hell out of me. Like, I'm just not interested. And I prefer my rich inner creative life that I've discovered as a result of narcissistic abuse. And so what's really cool is that my relationships are really aligned and really reciprocal with other people who have that as a value as well. And that's really fulfilling for me. Never would I've thought, years ago, when I was heading out of the narcissistic abuse quagmire, that I would be here enjoying such an amazing, fulfilling life. I felt so unworthy at the time. I'm sure if you're listening to this, you probably relate. Okay, so the second reason why I do not regret narcissistic abuse is I am sovereign free. I feel free. I feel sovereign. And I can create anything I desire with my creative power. I can create anything I desire with my creative power. I can create anything I desire with my creative power. My manifestation power is so potent that I literally can create things out of thin air. I mean, I'm not saying that to brag, and I don't mean it literally, although sometimes it does seem like it happens quite literally, I will say. But my creative power is really aligned, it's really clear, and it's easy for me to pull things in that I desire. It's easy for me to be a manifester. Oh, by the way, I'm at the airport because I'm going to pick up my little daughter at Grandma's house in Reno. So I'm flying from San Diego to Reno today. So I wanted to make this video for you on 2020 because that's a pretty exciting time. So sovereign power means that I take responsibility. I take full responsibility for my creations and my co-creations. Another way of saying that is that I take full responsibility for my choices and where I may have skirted choices or chosen not to make a choice, and therefore have either gone along with the flow or have given up my power of choice to somebody else, right? And so what's really powerful about this, and we talk about this also in Worthy of Love and in the Narcissistic Abuse Recovery programs, oh, there goes the airport announcer, is that we are so capable of feeling powerful. And so to recover narcissistic abuse means to recover. To recover, you have to reclaim your sovereign creative power. And so what that means is we can co-create miracles. We can co-create miracles, because what I've realized on this path over the last 10 years and 20 years, and what I see my clients come to, is this a realization of like, oh my God, I was giving my power away. I was giving my power away, and now I know how not to do that. And part of that comes with claiming our, what I call our creations and our miscreations, or our choices and our mistakes, right? Being sovereign means being accountable. And also what happens with that is when we don't take the route of blaming anybody else for our life in any way, we take full accountability, we take full responsibility. Again, like the reason number one, I told you it's so hard to hoodwink us, but also we're so powerful. Like we are aligned with our full creative power because we're willing to own when we mess up, and we're willing to not just blame that on somebody else, because blaming somebody else, you know, we could call it victim mentality, or we could say that's just releasing accountability. When we release accountability, we release power, we release sovereignty. So the second reason why I don't regret narcissistic abuse is because I am powerful and sovereign now as a result of my path in recovery, and you can be too. The third reason why I don't regret narcissistic abuse at all, and this is really amazing to me, and I want to just share, there's a slavery mentality on our planet. There's a mentality of transactional relationships. There's a mentality of tit for tat, quid pro quo, that's in the media, right? So there's this dynamic of, if I pay you, like if you work for me, I own you, like you're a slave. Like we basically rent ourselves out to be slaves. And when we haven't yet awoken, and narcissistic abuse is a method that for many empaths and many sensitives, it actually creates our awakening. So basically, the slavery mentality is a poverty mentality. It's a deprived mentality. So I'm sure you can see with narcissistic abuse how when we allow ourselves to be narcissistically abused, we then turn around and narcissistically abuse others. What does that mean? That just means that we become takers, not givers. And then because our model of relationships is transactional, we accept slavery dynamics, meaning we accept like, oh yeah, you give me money, I'll be your slave, like you own me, right? With narcissistic abuse recovery, I've noticed for myself and for many clients that we actually start to shift out of that mentality. We start to shift out of the poverty and slavery mentality, where there starts to become a, what am I contributing? What am I giving to the world? Who am I? What do I have to bring forward? And that's part of connecting with our creative power and not getting hoodwinked. So these are the three reasons why I do not regret narcissistic abuse. I don't regret having to go through it. I don't regret the recovery. I think it was a tremendous gift. It can be too for you. I encourage you to consider these three things and share below in your life. Where do you see this happening? Where do you see yourself like actually grateful? Are you at a place now where you can see it with gratitude, or are you still in recovery where you're in the quagmire of it still? If so, there's a lot of help for you on my website, womanworthyoflove.com. That's one word, womanworthyoflove.com. There are blogs, there are resources, there are testimonials from people who have done the programs and the work that I offer. I've been teaching in San Diego since 2015. I'm a master certified coach, thousands of hours and people of research on this topic and on thriving, really thriving after narcissistic abuse. So look me up. I look forward to connecting with you. Bye.